Well, fall is fully underway here in Vegas, and that's a great reminder that as the seasons shift, your retirement strategy might need to do a little shifting as well. So that's why every week we turn to financial advisor Jimmy Lin, certified financial planner and founder of Right Path Wealth Management right here in Las Vegas. Jimmy, happy Saturday. We got anything fun going on this week?
Just going to try to enjoy this great weather that we're having, so we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely. It's my favorite time of year. You and I, we've got a lot to get into today. We're going to talk some more on Medicare as open enrollment season is fully underway. We're also going to talk about, is it the right time for you to lock in an annuity? Plus, developing the right income plan for your retirement. But before we get into all of it, if you're ready to take a fresh look at your retirement plan, Jimmy's offering a complimentary retirement consultation exclusively to our radio listeners today. We're going to open those phone lines right now. 702-744-8344 is the number to dial. And if you are one of our first 5 callers, you will get a personalized second opinion from Jimmy himself. He's local. He's got offices in Summerlin and Henderson. So I encourage you to take advantage while he's got these open spots available on the calendar. 702-744-8344. One more time, that phone number, 702-744-8344. Or if online is better for you, you can always head to our website. We are at rightpathwm.com, and you can get connected that way. All right, Jimmy, let's dive in. You've got clients with various amounts of cash investments in their portfolios. The most popular are CDs, high yield savings, and money markets. But the Fed cutting interest rates means the rates on all those accounts will drop too. And that's not all. The rates on annuities are going down as well. So talk to us, Jimmy, about if there is time to lock in rates that are still favorable.
Yeah, for sure. We have time. I mean, we've been hearing it in the news. I don't know how long now that the story of rates has been going around, but we did see that they started to lower those rates, and we expect several more rate cuts all throughout 2026. But they kind of do it as we've seen at a snail's pace. So we know that they're going down, but we also have the opportunity right now to react to that. So it's really about, how you want to reposition some of your money. I would say that you kind of want to figure out what your end goal is. Like we don't push people in one direction or another. You really want to see, what am I trying to achieve? And based on that, how can I then take advantage of these rates while they're still high? Some people like to put their money in CDs, which if you're able to lock it in right now, you're probably going to get a higher rate for a couple years. Now, obviously, there's some limitations to that because, you're locking your money away. So liquidity can be a little bit of an issue. Other people, they may consider going into some type of money market fund. And so that provides you with a little bit more liquidity, although the rates will be a little more volatile. They're not fixed like a CD. As the listeners may know, we like for a portion of your assets to go to some type of annuity that is going to actually provide you with kind of a hybrid approach where, because of the higher rates, you may be able to lock in larger growth potential, but you still have some type of liquidity, whether it's taking a percentage out of your account or actually creating a lifetime income stream.
Well, Jimmy, it feels just like when we get comfortable with our saving strategies, the landscape shifts again. So with the Fed now signaling that rate cuts are on the horizon, a lot of folks are wondering what that means for the cash that they've set aside. So how should investors be thinking about reallocating those cash holdings to make sure that they're still getting the best yield possible?
Well, it's really about what's the end game, right? You have a pile of money and it may be allocated in cash or CDs, and you see what's going on in the news. What is your goal? I will say that these rates will start coming down slowly. So there's time to do something. And I always like to equate it to kind of like when mortgage rates are low. When mortgage rates are low, people refinance their house. Well, when interest rates are high, as they still currently are, there's a lot of different opportunities that you want to take advantage of before those rates lower. Some of those things could be really like if you want to create that income stream that we've always talked about. The high interest rate environments are the best time to kind of take some of your assets that you've worked so hard to save and create a purpose for that money, right? Create an income stream that you could never outlive that will help you pay the bills, take those vacations. So having a purpose And then being able to take advantage of these interest rates is kind of the strategy. But I always like to say, don't let I always get confused with that saying, don't let the cart lead the horse, I think it is.
Something like that.
Um,
Yes.
Something like that, right? But have a purpose and then take advantage of these rates. So that's one of the things that we like to do in our office is when someone comes in, nobody gets any type of cookie cutter plan. We're going to look at your specific situation and determine, are you trying to plan for legacy? You want to leave a bucket of money for your heirs and have it passed on a tax efficient way? Or do you just want to create an income stream so that you don't have to worry about that next paycheck coming in, or a combination of the two, right? Whatever that goal is, then we will create a plan for that and take advantage of these higher rates. Now, I will say that you want to act quickly, because sometimes when you want to reposition your money, it takes a little bit of time. You got to evaluate your situation, maybe got to open new accounts, do some transfers. So if that sounds a little daunting, I would invite the listeners out there to give us a call. We'll sit down and do that complimentary retirement assessment and see if we can provide you with some advice. You could reach out to us at 702-744-8344 to get on my calendar this week.
I think it's don't put the cart before the horse. Does that sound right?
That sounds better. That sounds a lot better.
We're going to go with that. All right. Well, I just want to emphasize this is a complimentary consultation with Jimmy. There's no obligation. There's no strings attached. It's just a conversation. So you want to get on Jimmy's calendar while he's got those spots available. He's local. He's eager to see how he can help you move forward. So give us a call, 702-744-8344. One more time, that's 702-744-8344. Or you can always head to rightpathwm.com and you can get started online as well. All right, I want you to think about how much will you spend in retirement. The rule of thumb is that retirees will spend 70 to 80% of their working year's income. But a new study by JP Morgan went further and found that 60% of households will see their spending go up and down in those early years of retirement. It's something financial planner Kevin Lum calls spending volatility. Take a listen.
Retirement spending is going to be bumpy. Some years you'll spend 20% more. Some years you'll spend 20% less. It's not a big problem as long as the averages work out and you manage the risk. But it does increase risk, because often when you first retire, spending can be a bit hard to predict because you're new to retiring. And so you might think you're going to spend $100,000 a year. If you plan for $100,000 a year and then you spend $120,000 or $150,000, it can mess up your income plan.
So have you noticed this with some of your clients, Jimmy? And how are you planning for spending volatility in those early years of retirement?
Yeah, for sure, Casey. I noticed that retirees, sometimes they start off kind of underestimating what they're going to spend. But if you think about it, these people, they've been working so hard, 20, 30, 40 years, just diligently saving for this moment. And it's like it's like a racehorse at the starting gates, right? When you open up those gates, they're off and running. And that's what I see a lot of times is these new retirees, they want to start hitting those bucket list items and work on projects around the house that they've been putting off, or picking up those new hobbies. So we definitely see that spending for a lot of retirees gets higher than expected as soon as they retire, just because of that level of excitement. And I think it's well deserved. The way we address it at our office is we kind of look at income planning in retirement as kind of what we call the retirement smile. And if you imagine what a smile looks like, the top of the smile, if you draw one, it's a little bit higher. And that's the early years where, you're basically an early retiree, your body is a little healthier, stronger, you can move about. That's when you're going to take a lot of these vacations, take those cruises, go see the national parks. But then once you do that for about 10, maybe 15 years, Father Time is undefeated. Our bodies will get a little bit slower. And so we don't take as many trips. And that's where the spending gets a little bit lower. That's kind of the bottom of the smile. But then again, as we start aging, we have those medical expenses. And so those are where our expenses start to increase. So our smile goes back up. That's a way of visually looking at your spending patterns in retirement. And so what we do is you got to start creating different income streams and buckets, give your money purpose, and it can be timed. You have money that's going to be allocated for the next 10 years, some money that's going to be allocated for the next 5 years. And then you have some of your assets that are going to be allocated for generational wealth or passing on to your heirs. Once you kind of have that plan in place, then you're able to kind of get through that volatility of the early years of retirement.
It's always fascinating to me, Jimmy, to watch how retirement brings not just those financial changes, but real shifts in how people approach life. And so with that in mind, what are some of the biggest behavioral shifts that you notice in retirees when their income stream changes from earning their salary at their job to now withdrawing from their savings?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a mind shift, right? I mean, we talked about it all the time. During your working years, you get that systematic paycheck and you spend it, and you're not really too worried about it because a little bit of that money is going into your retirement account. Once you get into this stage of life where you are now going to enjoy the fruits of your labor, you do have to be able to overcome that mindset shift of no longer accumulating assets every month to actually distributing those assets out. And it could be a scary thought because whatever you end up with in retirement, you're looking at that and you're telling yourself, it's got to last me the next 30 or 40 years. So it can be scary to draw that down, to take a vacation and take a big chunk of that is not really going to be replaced through an income stream. The way we oftentimes address that is we find that creating reliable paychecks in retirement help people make that shift. So, most people are going to rely on their Social Security. If you're lucky, you might have a pension. But if you don't have a pension, oftentimes you can create your own pension through like income annuities. That's a really popular strategy where you take some of the money that you've saved in like a 401k or your TSP, and you repurpose that money to create an income stream so you get another paycheck in retirement. Not only are you getting those Social Security checks every month, but now you get an additional paycheck. And when you know that paycheck's coming in every single month, then you get a little bit more freedom to spend. And I see that, at least in my experience, that it gives people more confidence spending in retirement and doing all the fun things that they've been waiting to do.
It really is one of the biggest mental hurdles of retirement. That fear of running out of money can be so powerful, and it can really keep you from enjoying the retirement that you work so hard to build, which is exactly what we do not want to happen. But this is where Jimmy comes in. So if you've ever wondered, can I really afford to do this in retirement? Now's the perfect time for you to get those answers that you've been looking for. Give us a call. 702-744-8344 is that number to dial. Jimmy has those 5 spots on his calendar set aside for our radio listeners. So take advantage of this opportunity while you can. Again, that number 702-744-8344. Or you can always head online to rightpathwm.com and you can get connected that way. That is going to do it for us this week. We will be back next week, same time, same place, with more great insight from certified financial planner Jimmy Lin here on the Right Path to Retirement. Take care.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Right Path Wealth Management. Right Path Wealth Management is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Right Path Wealth Management are not subject to investment advisory requirements. Investing involves risk, including potential loss of principal. Any reference to the protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing carrier. This radio podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It's not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decision, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Right Path Wealth Management is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during the show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Right Path Wealth Management. Please remember that converting an employer plan account to a Roth IRA is a taxable event. Increased taxable income from the Roth IRA conversion may have several consequences. Be sure to consult with a qualified tax advisor before making any decisions regarding your IRA.